For a minute there it looked as though we might be getting 5 Disney Plus Star Wars shows in 2024. We've just come out of some strikes though, and now Disney have announced they're spacing out their Star Wars content, and this leaves us with just 2 projects confirmed for the new year. This is a pretty big update, guys. You don't want to miss it. Here we go. Hello my dear friends, we begin with a rather concerning update from the official Disney press. This morning they released what's coming on Disney Plus in 2024, and it's worth noting they do include animated shows as well. So before we say, well, the animated stuff isn't included, that's not true. They listed Marvel Studios' X-Men 97 as well as Monsters at Work Season 2, both animated. But on the Star Wars front, it seems like 2024 may not be as expansive in terms of stories from the galaxy far, far away as we originally thought, and I did say in previous videos this could happen. Many titles could be pushed back to 2025, and that seems like it might be the case. Might being the key word. In the Lucasfilm section, there are only 2 series for Star Wars coming next year. Still good. The first one is The Acolyte. I've emphasized this before. This is where Disney and Lucasfilm are pumping all of their marketing money for Star Wars. The Acolyte. They say the series is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. A former Padawan reunites with a Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. A summary we've heard before. And the second show, which is coming much later in the year, probably around November or December, is Skeleton Crew, which tells the story of 4 kids who find themselves lost in the vastness of the galaxy, trying to find their way home. So, as many suspected, no Andor Season 2, they've not resumed filming and so that's going to be pushed back to 25, no Tales of the Jedi, and most surprisingly of all, no Bad Batch Season 3. This in particular is eyebrow-raising, because there have been a few teases that the final mix was done, the voice acting was completed, there was enough footage back in April for Celebration, but this time the focus is on 2 live-action shows, The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. This is subject to change. They may not have finalised everything. At this point, maybe The Bad Batch is simply not getting the publicity it deserves, and it is still coming in 2024. Maybe they're just highlighting the big exclusives. So I wouldn't worry too much just yet. And I've spoken a lot about The Acolyte, and remarkably there seems to be fans thinking it's cancelled. Well, it's not. And as you can see, it's right here in black and white, scheduled for 2024 on Disney Plus. And so now, my dear friends, some comments made by Dave Filoni on the future of the Mandalorian. This is pretty huge. As we saw in Season 3, the Darksaber was destroyed by Moff Gideon in his fight against Bo-Katan, and in many ways this was a great thing for the future of a now unified Mandalore. Gone are the days of division that became associated with the blade, but I don't think Dave Filoni is done with the symbolism that came with the weapon. In fact, I strongly believe that one day soon, we're going to see the creation of another lightsaber on the home world, but this one is going to be conciliatory, heralding a new age for Mandalore. Now that Grogu is Din Grogu, a Mandalorian apprentice, who is going on his journeys and travels with Din Djarin, his adoptive father, there will come a day, if he follows this path, that he will be a fully fledged Mandalorian warrior. Given his brief training with Luke, and his background before Order 66, even though now he rejected the Jedi path, Grogu's Force abilities will forever be a part of his identity, and so I believe it's very possible he's going to create for himself and for his people a new lightsaber. I think it's very possible in decades and centuries to come, if he becomes the Mandalore, the leader of the home world, he will wield a lightsaber of some kind. But now that Thrawn poses a threat, there is added incentive for now to be the time that Mandalorians get together and draw upon their warrior roots. They might be at peace temporarily, but they're about to face something worse than Gideon. I understand why Mandalorians may not want to craft another Darksaber, but their current leader Bo-Katan is so proficient with the weapon, it would only make sense to, and if she's the one to do it, it could symbolize a new tradition, one which might be passed down, instead of having to fight and challenge the wielder for power. Imagine her alongside Sabine when she gets back from Peridea, both of them with their lightsabers, maybe with Ahsoka and Ezra in the fight, and one day Grogu, Now there's a team of allies. Even though Bo is not force sensitive, she is very skilled. Maybe a replacement blade will come sooner rather than later. But Dave Filoni recently spoke about the weapon and said that while fans have a strong attachment to the Darksaber, it isn't too different to a regular lightsaber, despite its age and the importance the Mandalorian people placed on it. This to me sounds as though it is replaceable, and probably will be, and as I say, after Bo-Katan, they might be led by a force-sensitive Mandalorian who follows the path of the legendary Tar Vizsla. This could either be Sabine Wren, who many believe could be a descendant of Tar Vizsla, or as aforementioned, Grogu, although he's got quite some years to go. Here is what Filoni said. It's not that it necessarily is more powerful than any other lightsaber. In fact, you can make a strong argument that it's not. It's an old lightsaber, and it has its limitations. It's obviously not a style that's been replicated, and you can imagine that's because Tar Vizsla understood something and added a Mandalorian twist to it that no one's been able to replicate since. It's a flat blade of energy, which is bizarre, and we've spoken in the past about how the Darksaber really responds to the user, why Sabine was able to train with it under Kanan Jarrus, and why Din Djarin had a more tough time with it. Well, for all we know, we're probably going to see a replacement for the Darksaber, whether that's Sabine with Ezra's lightsaber or a new Mandalorian Jedi hybrid blade. I'm certainly not the only Star Wars fan who wants to see how they're going to reorganize the planet, the people, the various clans, their roles, and of course, their weaponry. What do you guys think of this? Should they create another lightsaber like the Darksaber to symbolize leadership on the world? And could Luke Skywalker help them find the crystal for it? Some very fascinating speculation. And so now, my dear friends, staying on the subject of the Mandoverse, Eman Esfandi, Ezra Bridger himself, admits he did not watch all of the episodes of Star Wars Rebels but instead focused on Season 4, Ezra's character and mindset, just before he and Thrawn were transported to Peridea, and just focusing on those older Ezra Bridger moments. He has his reasons for doing this. He didn't want to get too caught up in the origins of the character, but where he is now. Now honestly, while some fans might want to make a big deal about this, because he depicts Ezra Bridger in live action so well, I have no complaints. He was awesome. He says this, I felt very connected to an older version the way he was written, and I watched the episodes where Ezra has scenes very intimately with the likes of Sabine and the Spectre crew, and Ahsoka in particular, and just to understand that dynamic, so I was inundated with a lot of it. All actors have their own methods, and Dave gave him a list of essential episodes. Really awesome. Can't wait to see more of him. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think? Did you enjoy this video? And if so, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.